Welcome to the Acadia Vale Public School podcast. This week, we are so fortunate to have a proud Gumbaynja and Bundjalung man, Troy Cassar-Daley. Now, Troy isn't just a musician, he's a storyteller, a custodian of culture, and a voice that echoes across the Australian landscape. Troy was born into a legacy of fireside storytellers, and over 3 decades, he's crafted a career that is as rich and enduring as the land he sings about. Troy has been awarded a staggering collection of accolades, including 45 Golden Guitar Awards, 6 ARIA Awards, 4 CMAA Entertainer of the Year titles, 3 APRA Song of the Year, the 50th inductee into the prestigious Australasian Roll of Renown, 9 Deadlies, 2 NIMAs, and 33 #1 singles. Despite all of this, Troy Cassar-Daley is probably one of the most down-to-earth, nicest fellas you could ever meet. And we're lucky here at Arcadia Vale to call him a mate. Welcome to our podcast, Australian country music legend, Troy Cassar-Daley.
Hi.
G'day, how are you?
I'm good. How are you?
Good, thank you.
So we have a couple of questions, and they might consist of your career, the job, and school. So this is the first question. Who or what inspired you as a child to become a musician?
I would have to say it started with my family, but I also had a really good guitar teacher. And when I was 10-year-old, my cousins would come home after learning guitar from this lady, and I would get really jealous of my cousins to be able to play so good. So it pushed me to go to lessons with her, and all I wanted to do was be a guitar player. I didn't really want to be a singer. I didn't have the confidence to be a singer. So I went along to this lady. She taught me some guitar, and then she realized that I could sing a little bit and kept encouraging me to be a little bit more confident. So confidence is a big thing when you grow up in a family where no one else does that sort of thing. We all sort of were very shy kids. And then this teacher in particular was a bit of a life changer.
Hello.
G'day.
I have another question for you here. What was school like for you?
School was very interesting. I went to a Catholic school. My grandmother insisted that I went to a Catholic school because she was Catholic. And it was a good education. There was a bit of push and shove every now and then in the schoolyard because kids would say things that would upset you about being Aboriginal, and had to get past that. That was a bit of a stumbling block for me. And it was a stumbling block for a lot of my cousins as well. But we got through that. And then I started to realise that there were certain teachers that were going to be life-changing, like my guitar teacher. But there was one nun in particular that took a real interest in a lot of us kids and gave us a little bit more confidence to speak and to believe in what you're doing, to understand that your culture is important. And one time, this one particular nun said, "Troy, I want you to show the rest of the class something about your culture." So I took them out in a bush in a bus with an uncle of mine and took them for a huge bushwalk and showed them how to get witchetty grubs and stuff like that. And the nun was so surprised at the reaction of the rest of the kids in the class. It was a real game changer for everyone in the class to have open hearts about what Aboriginal culture is about. And I'll never forget that particular teacher because she allowed me to show my culture to the rest of the class who were non-Indigenous kids. And that was a big turning point for me too. That gave me that little bit more confidence to be proud of my culture and to understand that the rest of the kids were interested too.
You recently wrote a song about that, your school experience.
Yeah, and be careful because there's a couple of swear words in there. There was
That wasn't me. That wasn't me.
Yeah, it was about I think getting questioned about your Aboriginality, being a fair kid meant that a lot of my cousins are darker than me. And I used to always get my Aboriginality questioned, and it used to really annoy me. And sometimes the kids would say things that would really hurt. And writing about it was interesting on this record because it was a frustrating time for me. But coming out of the other end of it, I think with people that used to taunt me ended up being really good friends because, being a little bit more strong and assertive and being able to talk things through instead of resorting to violence, which I used to do as a little fella. But I was able to then talk to these kids and reason with them about why they had racist things to say to me. And that song was very important. And like I say, the swearing was a little bit more of my frustration as a kid because I used to I grew up in a family that you'd call us career swearers. Everyone swears in my family. Not on camera, of course, and not in front of crowds at shows. But, it was a part of my life. And I thought it was part of my dialogue as a young kid to show the frustration as to what was going on in my school years. But then getting through that and becoming friends with these kids was very, very important. And I think the strength that I got from those experiences really helped me in my adult life.
Hi. Hello.
How are you, brother? All right?
Yeah, I'm good.
That's good.
When you were a child, did you ever think you're gonna be anything else than a musician?
Yeah. When I was a child, because my mum and dad broke up when I was very young, I spent a lot of time in Grafton where I grew up, but my dad was in Sydney, so I spent a lot of time going on trains and getting in cars and going down to visit my father. And when I was younger, I wanted to be a carpenter because when I'd visit my dad in Sydney, he had an incredible shed full of tools. And I used to annoy him to get into that shed, get the key and get in there and build stuff. And I had an uncle up in Grafton that was a builder as well. And so I started out wanting to be a carpenter, believe it or not. But I don't know whether my measuring skills and maths were really up to scratch to do that. And then I was going to be a cook. I went to TAFE when I got out of school and I was going to be a chef. And I lasted 3 months in that restaurant because my head was always somewhere else. And my job was to look after all the preparation of the vegetables and stuff like that. And I couldn't even concentrate on that. And I burned a lot of garlic bread as well. So I was destined to be a musician, I think.
Yeah.
Hi.
G'day.
I'm currently looking for mine right now. So what was your first job?
You're looking for your first job?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, my first job was washing dishes in a ladies' cafeteria. And it wasn't the best money, but it was a great way to learn to relate to people. Part of my job was not only washing the dishes in the background of the cafe, but I also had to go and do the till. And of course, your young mind will be really good with computers and things like that. So you should have no trouble running a till when you get a job. But I made a few mistakes on the first couple of days, but then I got into the groove. And so that was my first job. I was 12 years old and my mum pushed me to do it because I kept loaning money off my mum to buy stuff that I wanted, like guitars and little things like that. And she said, it's about time. If you want this other thing for your guitar, she said, you better get a job. So I signed up and had to go in there and work some of the nights when my mother would finish on the trains. And it was exciting because at the end of the week, I got my hand out and got a little yellow pay packet in those days. And it was part and parcel of being able to buy stuff you want. And I bet there's things you want that you look forward to being able to be paid for that you can go and buy yourself.
Yeah.
I bet.
When and how did you get your first guitar and what was it? Do you still have it?
Yeah, it's actually the first guitar that I ever owned is in a little museum in Tamworth. So they asked me to put it in there. I'm pretty sure it's still there. I hope it is. But it was it was a hand-me-down guitar, and my girl cousins used to own it, so it had some rose stickers on it, girly ones, and so you can see on the guitar where I tried to scratch them off, but they wouldn't come off. So I was stuck with this guitar for 6 months, but it was a good learning guitar. And I was very, very happy to have anything that I could play, because my mum couldn't afford to just go and buy a brand new guitar, because this might have been something that might have been a whim that I would give up in 6 months. She didn't know whether I was serious or not. I didn't know whether I was serious, but it was a really good little guitar. I played it and played it, even used to revisit that guitar years later. So, and it's still obviously in my life, but just not here in the studio with me.
At school, we actually get lots of opportunities at school. So do you feel like when you're at school, do you feel like you're given enough opportunities in school to follow your dream?
Yeah, I think we were given a lot of opportunities. I think the opportunities were always there if you wanted to take them. There were a lot of kids who didn't look at those opportunities as being special, and they took them for granted. But we had good teachers who gave us guidance. I wasn't going to go to year 11 and 12. I wanted to get out into the workforce as quick as I could. So I left in year 10. But we had some really, really good teachers at my high school that were encouraging. They showed us how to do a tax return if you had a job when you first got out of school. So I had a lot of great opportunities. I don't think I had a lot of great musical opportunities, because a lot of the focus at that Catholic school that I went to was on sports, maths, and science. It wasn't really an arts school. But I have to say there were a lot of kids in my class, and lower and higher than me, that we used to all get together after school and make music. And that was a way to encourage each other, even though there wasn't a big part of music in our curriculum at our school. The thing that really got us going was the extracurricular stuff we would do after school, staying back at the local church there, and we'd rehearse our band even in the part of the church where they'd allow us to set up. And so those opportunities were awesome.
Yeah. Where was your first gig and how old were you?
My first gig was at a place called Red Rock up on the North Coast, and it was at the bowling club. I think I was 17, and we ran out of songs halfway through the show and had to repeat a few, and I was very nervous. And I had a photo of me at this gig, and I was even cheating. I had a music stand in front of me, like to read the lyrics. That's how stupid I was. And it was a bit of a gammon gig, but I must say it was the first gig nonetheless, and we got paid money to play. And there's even pictures of some kids dancing on the dance floor, so they must have enjoyed some of it. But I do remember us being pretty bad, though.
I actually kind of had a first gig. It wasn't a gig, it was more like karaoke. It was at our local workers club, and me and my friends decided to sing a song, and it was okay, but we there was a lot of people there and they all clapped for us after. So I guess we did a good job.
A gig's a gig, you know. I mean, karaoke is still a gig. You still have to have the confidence to sing in front of people. Were you nervous though?
Yeah. But we were singing our choir songs, so we knew the words.
Oh, well, that's a bit better. I mean, choir songs are much better, but I do remember big nerves, and I still sometimes get, even at my age, I'm 56 now, I still get nervous before gigs at times, especially if it's a gig where maybe I'm doing a choir thing with some school kids in a different town, and I think I feel nervous for them as well. But I still think the nerves means that you respect what you're about to do.
Yeah.
And well done on the gig.
Thank you.
Was your first song you ever wrote? Can you remember it?
Oh, wow. It was probably terrible, regardless of what it was. But I do have some old tapes here. There's some things on my mantle. There's an old tape here that I'm probably going to burn before I die, because if anyone
Oh.
gets to listen to it, it will be hugely embarrassing if anyone listens to it. But my first song was probably about a broken heart. I was probably about 14 or 15. And, you know, you get broken hearts at all stages of your life. And I gather that's what it was about. From memory, that's what it was about. I remember playing it for my mum, and my mum sort of nodded her head and said, "That's really good." But she probably understood that it was probably pretty crappy. But you have to start somewhere, don't you?
Yeah, you
Yeah.
do.
What is your favorite song you've ever written? Like,
Oh, wow. Jeez.
I-
I've written a couple. It's like saying, is my son or my daughter my favorite kid? You know, they all seem like they're my favorite. So I think you live with them for so long, they feel like they're an extra part of your family. You know, I think there's a song I wrote with a fellow called Paul Kelly called "Lonesome but Free," and when I wrote that song with him, it was a really personal family story. And I still play it. Young people do a few covers of it and send them to me on Instagram and stuff like that. So I think it resonates with a lot of other people as well. But yeah, I think that would probably be one of my favorites to play still, because it's about our family.
My last name is also Kelly.
Oh, okay. You might be related to him, mate.
What do you do in your spare time when you're playing any music?
writing.
I sort of I like to fix stuff. I love mucking around with tools and things like that. Still, just like my late dad, I like to get involved and fix things. I had to hang a kayak up the other day because I fish all the time. Fishing's a big passion. But yeah, I had to put a thing up to hang my kayak up in the roof the other day, and that took me all day to do because I'm not a tradesman. But I do get a lot of joy out of fixing things. So that was a great weekend for me. I got a chance to pull the kayak up in the air there under the roof and make it all work and tie the ropes up. It was quite complicated for me, but I do love that.
Miss Dunn said you like fishing.
Oh, I love fishing. I've been up at a place we have up at the coast, and I run into people all the time asking about why am I not playing gigs? Why am I just walking along the beach barefoot? But I have a feeling when I walk up the beach, sometimes I feel like where I come from, we call it talking to the old people, talking to the old spirits. And when I fish, I feel like I do that. I feel like I'm yarning to old people that have since passed, that still hang around. And I don't know whether you kids ever have any dreams sometimes of people that have passed away in your family, but sometimes fishing for me helps me reconnect to that part of my life.
What is your favorite species of fish to catch?
I tell you, I would have to say flathead because, you know, I target flathead, but sometimes I don't always catch them. Sometimes I'll catch a really big dart or something big out of the surf, a tailor. But yeah, my favorite is the flathead, and they are pretty elusive, but I do work hard to get them. And sometimes I walk, you know, when your phone watches all the steps you do if you've got an iPhone. The other day when I was fishing, looking for flathead, I walked 26,000 steps going up the beach.
That's a lot.
And
Wow, that is.
and I got to tell you, I felt like I'd lost a kilo coming home, you know. but it really is a lot of fun, and I connect with the country that I'm standing on. It's not my country up there at the Sunshine Coast, but it still feels very special to be there. That's for sure.
We have plenty of flathead in the lake. You should come down and have a price of fish for some.
Yeah, no, I hear that. Is that near Lake Macquarie there?
Yeah.
Yeah, that sounds like a great fishery. I've read a lot about Lake Macquarie. That's very good. So you might see me walking around there one day if I've got a gig down that way.
Have you had any setbacks during your career?
Oh, I've had a lot of setbacks. There's been times where when I was quite young, maybe in my early 20s, I was probably drinking too much. and probably not looking after myself. And I'd get a little bit of sort of that doubt creep in. We all have self-doubt, and that's perfectly normal to have self-doubt. Don't worry. At any age, any time. And so I suffered a little bit of that self-doubt thing. And I think the setbacks that I had were because I just didn't believe in myself enough. And so if you kids ever feel that, you're sitting down and you're going, oh, I don't think I'll ever be able to do that, sometimes you've got to actually just make the decision to give it a go, because that's all I did. On the times where I thought that I was really falling back and not going where I wanted to go with music, I would sit down and think, what would my grandparents tell me? What would my parents tell me? What they would normally tell me is to get up off your bum and have a go. And if you push yourself like that, the self-doubt thankfully falls to the wayside and you keep going.
How or who helped you overcome these setbacks?
Well, you've got people in your life, and I'm sure you kids do, whether it be your mum and dad or maybe your nan and pop, who are always there to talk to you. My guitar teacher helped me, that helped me when I was 10 to start lessons. I used to actually have a lot of really interesting conversations with her about my setbacks. I went into some talent quests at Tamworth and never won. And I was really depressed. And she said, don't be depressed. She said, it's an experience that you had to have. And it's going to not only teach you to be humble, but it also teaches you to lose. Sometimes learning to lose is just as important as learning to win something, So I had people around me, and take note of the people around you. They're probably right under your nose. It might even be a teacher at school that you've had some chats to when you're feeling not that great, and don't be afraid to talk to people about it, because that's one thing I think I was lucky enough to be raised to be open enough to talk about the days when you're feeling a bit shabby, Not every day is great.
Yeah. I've sung for the school before, and I didn't really know if I should do it. My parents pushed me, and that's why I did it. So I wasn't really sure.
And what did you think, you couldn't do it?
Well, yeah, sort of. It's just really hard for me to do it.
It's like the fear of
Yeah.
messing up.
Look, the fear of failure is perfectly normal too. Oh God, I had that happen so many times. There were things that I used to look at and trying to achieve when I was at school, probably your age. And I used to always doubt myself and go, there's no way I can do that. But then, you get that one person that pushes you a little bit more. And sometimes that's all you need, is that little bit of a push of encouragement to give it a go. And it's never too late to have a go. You can sometimes sit back and go, yeah, I'm out. But that's sometimes just your self-doubt winning. And after a while, you can't let it win. You've got to actually push yourself a little bit more and go, you know what, bugger it, I'm going to give this a go. I'm really going to work hard and try. And you'd be surprised at what you can do.
Yeah. Where do you find inspiration for your songs?
Look, I find it sitting here. I've got a little notebook, that whenever I get an idea and I'm on the road, or even when I get up fishing, I can walk up the beach, and if some melody comes to me, I'll get my phone out and sing it into the phone. That's a really great way to put ideas down, or your phone notes. And even last night, I remember a little line that I wrote down in the middle of the night up the coast in between fishing days. And next thing you know, I was writing a song at midnight last night, finishing off the idea that I started. So inspiration's everywhere. I think it should be part of your life. Look around you sometimes and take a minute to take in your surroundings. Sometimes there'll be inspirational stuff just sitting there waiting to be written about, or, it doesn't have to be writing a song. It can be writing a little poem, anything, just something that really starts you off. If you're into words and poetry and things like that, it can be a great way to do it.
You've won 45 golden guitars. Where do you keep them all?
I see two in the background.
Yeah.
Wow, what's this one for? This is with Jimmy Barnes, this one. And I remember Kate actually sang on this song, your teacher there. She sang on this song, Bird on a Wire. And she was in a band called Bella. And sorry to put you in there, Kate.
Guitar?
I know. This is a few years old now, but where do I keep them? I keep them beside me for inspiration. You're talking about inspiration. Sometimes you look at these and you think to yourself, yeah, they're all a bit dusty. They've been around for a while. But you can see them in the background there. There's a lot of other things that inspire me here as well. I get given some of the most amazing gifts. When I was in regional Victoria, I had about 12 elders come in to say hello and welcome me to their country in Gippsland. And they gave me, hang on a second, they gave me this beautiful boomerang, right? And this is something that I cherish a lot as well. And someone had put on the back of it, they were inspired by my song, The Freedom Ride. So on the back, they had Freedom Ride 50 years written on the back. And I reckon that's just a wonderful thing that someone's taken the time to carve and give me. And so inspiration lays everywhere here, whether it be an old golden guitar, whether it be an old boomerang, some things that people give you on your way around as small tokens of their appreciation. I just find as a songwriter, you've really got to be on the game all the time to look around you and to take things in. Don't dismiss stuff too quick, because right there could be something you want to write a song about, you know?
Yeah.
Do you do any woodworking at home?
Yeah, look, the only sort of woodworking I really do is when I build something like that kayak thing I had to build the other day. I had to do a lot of measuring and wood cutting and things, but I love it still. And my uncle is still a really good carpenter. And I used to tell him I nearly became a carpenter because of him. And he said, oh, thank God you didn't do that. He said, you cut 2 fingers off, you're no good on the guitar, are you? So, and he's got a finger missing. He's got this finger on his left hand is missing from cutting through some timber and then lopping it off. And he tried to get it sewn back on, but it didn't work. So
My pop lost his finger.
yeah,
Same
my
one.
pop. Yeah, my pop had a finger missing too. So his father, my uncle's father, and you know what it was? It was my mum and a few people. They were all only kids. They were arguing while he was chopping the wood, and he was chopping the wood, and he chopped his finger off while he was looking over at the kids fighting in the backyard. And next thing, they took it up to the hospital wrapped in a hanky, and couldn't put it back on. So my grandfather had a hand like this, you know. That's no good for guitar players. I'm much better on the guitar than I would be on a circular saw, that's for sure.
Yeah, I like doing woodworking. I made a stool not too long ago.
Oh, isn't it great? Isn't it great to make
Yes.
something that you can use as well? I've got a few things I made in woodwork at school, like you would too, and they're still in my house. I made a thing for my nan to put hot teapot on, so it was a little teapot shape out of timber with tiles on it, and I still have that in my house. And I made that when I was like maybe 11 or 10 or something. And so these things never go away. So you made a stool, right?
Yeah.
That's awesome and totally usable. Good job.
There's a song in that story. I don't know it, but my teachers do. It's the nine-finger yellow.
From that story.
From
there
that
could
story.
There could be a song in called.
Is there?
No, like I'm saying,
Oh,
inspiration.
you said that there was.
No, like so. There's a song in that story. The Nine-Finger Yeller.
Oh my goodness me! I still to this day when I read my mum's funny little stories she used to write me, that was one of them. And you can easily write a story about it and a song. And I think a lot of people say to me, where do you start? Not only inspired to write, but where do you start writing songs? Like, look at your family stories. Sit down with your family. They will have very interesting stories. They'll have a lot of old photos. But some of my stories that I've dug out of family history have become some of my favourite songs, and you're personally connected with them as well. So if you're ever looking to write a song, you kids, if you're mucking around with a guitar or a piano or doing a bit of karaoke and getting inspired by something like that, you may want to look at your family history, because there's always something interesting in everyone's families to talk about.
Who's the most famous person like you've worked with and collaborated with?
Apart from Kate Dunn.
Well, gee, I've worked with a few famous and interesting people. I worked with Johnny Cash. You know, you probably don't even know some of these names. Willie Nelson. I worked with them when they came to Australia and toured here. And on a local level, you know, it's been wonderful to work. I did like 10 shows with Midnight Oil, for instance, and got a chance to stand in the band and sing on a lot of those old songs. And I've worked with Jimmy Barnes on numerous occasions at different things, and a lot of the members from Cold Chisel. So that's always been a real thrill. Ian Moss, the guitar player out of Cold Chisel, him and I often do acoustic shows together. And I think if you look at that, was it Triple J had their top 100 songs over the weekend. I think Cold Chisel had about 4 songs in there. And you probably mightn't have heard much of Cold Chisel, but they're a great band. And I just loved working with all the members of them.
What about the Widows?
Wiggles.
Oh,
Okay. I've got a quick... That could have been a band. That sounds like a band to me. The Widows. But I'll show you something. I got given this Ganjo here by Anthony, the Blue Wiggle, right? I rang him.
That's so cool.
I rang him up, and I said, I've got, I need a Ganjo, something like this. And even on the case, it still has Wiggles stickers on it, right? So... And it sounds amazing. I love it. So he gave it to me. Oh, thank you. Well, I wrote a song on it. You talk about inspiration. I was listening to a podcast one afternoon, and it was talking about a lot of history in Australia. And so when I heard the podcast, then I watched a documentary called The First Australians. It took me down a rabbit hole with this Ganjo. So little did I realise it arrived at my house, but I didn't realise it would help me write a song. And the song started like And then it went like my name is Windradine, I am Wiradjuri. You may not know my face or my history. I was born on the plains before the white man come with his cattle and his sheep, the horses and the gun. So I picked this instrument up and started to play that song. Oh, thank you very much. And so Anthony gifted me this thing. I tried to actually give it back last year because I bought another one. And he said, no, it's yours. He said, if you keep playing it, just have it. So, yeah, I've had an affiliation with... They're probably the most famous people I'd probably work with, I guess.
Maybe you should get the Wiggles on our podcast.
yeah.
That'd be so cool.
I tell you what, I can put a word in for you at least, because they are really, really good people, and they are really, really good educators. I did a song with Dorothy the Dinosaur years ago, and my kids love Dorothy. And when I walked into the set to sing with Dorothy, I actually turned into a fanboy and went, oh my God, this is Dorothy the Dinosaur. And then I did a song with Captain Feathersword, and Captain Feathersword also lives in my area here. So we run into each other with our dogs and walk around the same park. So they're all really good people. and incredible, like I say, really good educators. But you should get one of them on. I think that'd be a very interesting interview.
Evie is a proud Aboriginal woman and an inspiration to kids. From the Wiggles.
Oh, yes, she is. And out at Tamworth this year when they launched their country album, and she had some beautiful little Indigenous flags as earrings that she was wearing. And so just really, really lovely to see that they got a very diverse mob of people in the Wiggles now, and they've broken away and got girls in there too. And so it's really, really beautiful to see, and they continue to travel the world. And Anthony, the blue fella that gave me this banjo, he's still on the road with them, even as an old bloke. He's such a great, great man and a really, really full of life person, you know.
I remember, sorry, I'm just going to jump in. I remember seeing the Wiggles at Cardiff RSL with me and about 15 other kids in there. So, yes, Anthony has been doing it for a very long time. I'm 34 and I still absolutely love the Wiggles, and so do my two sons now. So it's just amazing.
Well, I think that's a great thing to remember is the fact that, you know, you talk about the first gig that I did. I remember talking to Anthony about some of the first gigs they did. Very small audiences and really humble way to start. And did you kids grow up with the second generation Wiggles? I guess you would have had a few people that you would have listened to as well. But the OG Wiggles are the ones that my kids who are now in their 20s, they grew up with them. And I've got photos with them when they were little babies with the whole four of them backstage at Christmas carols and all that. And recently my son does a radio show up here, and he had Murray, the original Red Wiggle. He came in and did an interview with him. So my son took him down and showed him his red car.
You've won 9 Deadly Awards. What advice would you give to young Aboriginal kids to follow their dreams?
Oh, I would say to always trust your heart. If there's one thing my family taught me to do was always trust things that feel good in your heart to do. Some things you're going to be asked to do that may not suit the way you feel. That's a good way to do it. I would say trust your heart and do as many shows as you can. Those Deadly Awards are just exactly pride of place next to Golden Guitars up there as well. And I always loved catching up with people and talking about the pride that you got from being acknowledged by your own mob as well. But I would say, you know, follow your heart and work hard, because nothing replaces hard work, that's for sure.
Hey, mate. Well, we are so very, very thankful to you for such a great yarn with these kids. I know they'll take away a lot from that, and so will our beautiful community. You're just a top bloke. I have been spruiking on about you since I introduced the kids to your music when we sung Dream Out Loud a couple of years ago. We're just really, really grateful for you to share your story with us and give these kids some inspiration, because young Logan's here is learning to play the guitar. He's one of our young Awabakal boys here, so he's living here on country and going to school on country, and we've got some
Logan
inspiring.
Kelly, Logan
Logan
Kelly.
Kelly.
That's already
Isn't it a good name?
That's a stage name already. I think that's a great one.
And I'll tell you what, he's like a little you. He's a fisherman. He loves working with his hands. And he's a really top kid, ready to be a star.
Well, it was great to see you kids, and Kate, thank you for the opportunity to be able to have a yarn. I've travelled through there and Warramai country, and always felt really blessed to walk around Awabakal as well. And I think that, you know, if you can just be yourself, don't ever feel like you have to be anyone else but yourself. That's one of the most important things I think we've all learned on our way through too. And whether it's on stage doing karaoke, whether it's, you know, walking down the street, always be proud of who you are and just be yourself. And I think that's the best advice I can give. And Kate, I want to say thank you to you and Jeremy for lining this up. If we can get some more guests for you, I think that'd be really, really cool as well. We might have some other people we can funnel your way.
Oh, we would absolutely love that. Thank you so much, brother. It's been awesome to chat to you face to face instead of over a text message. Thank you. What do you
I
want to say,
know.
kids?
And thanks for the time. And like I
Thank
say,
you for your time. I'm going to let the kids say goodbye. And I'll let Rod know where his
no
guitar is.
worries. Take care, Kate. Yeah,
Okay,
let
say
him know that it's
goodbye.
in a good place. Take care, you Jarjums.
Bye.
Be
Bye,
good
Troy.
and enjoy your
behalf-
schooling.
On behalf of Katie Public School, thank you for joining us in today's podcast.
And congratulations on being school captain. How good is that?
Thank you.
No worries. Lovely to see you, kids. Take care.
Bye.
Ta-da now.
That was phenomenal to be able to talk to Troy Cassar-Daley, someone who has travelled the world, seen many fantastic things, but is also very, very humble. What were some of the things that stood out to you as a group that he chatted about or that he shared? Mrs. Dunn and I could only hear just a little bit. We didn't have the headphones on, but he had some wonderful things to share.
Very
Yeah, in what way?
kind of, I don't know, understood what we were saying, how he so understand.
Yeah.
He wasn't afraid of what he was saying. He was just really proud. He was like, "This is me."
Yeah, scars and all, like he was sharing his ups, his downs, his highs, his lows, but it was all part of the inspiration of what he does as a singer-songwriter and also as a human being. Logan, I know you liked the fishing. What else was something else that stuck out to you?
Probably that he's got his first ever guitar in a museum.
Oh, yeah, how cool
There,
is
that's
that?
pretty impressive, isn't
Did he
it?
tell you the make of what kind of guitar it was?
No,
He
he
said it
did.
was a second hand.
Yeah.
Ah.
And it had flowers on it or something?
Yeah,
it had
sticker
roses on it because it was a girl's guitar.
And
He couldn't get them off.
You can see him trying to scratch them off.
Ah, right. And it's in a museum in Tamworth, is that what he said?
Yes.
Yeah.
So if you're ever in Tamworth, go and check it out. You're originally from Tamworth, aren't you?
I was born in.
There you go. You've been to Tamworth?
In Tamworth, there's a golden guitar,
I've
as
seen
most
the
people
A
know.
huge
But
one.
there's also stars on the floor of people's names. What
Yep,
they
I
were.
wonder
I think
is-
I saw
Yeah.
his name.
Yeah, I was about
His
to
name
say.
is there. Yeah, that's
so
the
cool.
roll of renown. Yeah, so anyone who's, put their life into Australian country music gets inducted into the roll of renown.
You have a golden guitar.
I do have a golden guitar. I actually have
The
two.
necklace.
Oh, and one
Yeah,
around my
yeah.
neck.
Yeah. How cool that we're just in the background. He's like, oh, yeah, I've just got a couple. Let me know.
Yeah.
Oh, what's this one? What's this one for? I'll blow off the dust. Got 45.
Oh, Jimmy Barnes.
Yeah. What were you going to say, Tane?
Don't you have to pay more for the golden to watch them? Do the golden guitar?
To go to the ceremony? Yeah,
Yeah,
you'd have to buy a
like,
ticket.
so-
Yeah. Yeah. So it's like the equivalent of the Grammys for country music.
Yeah.
It's that kind of thing, and it's really it's something that all of the country music artists strive for every year. They strive to be a nominee, and that's a really big accolade. And of course, Troy won 45, the most golden guitars ever won in history. He beat Slim Dusty last year when he picked up 5 golden guitars in one night.
Wow.
Yeah, pretty
You
impressive.
should get a golden guitar for the most golden guitars.
There should be one.
How cool that we mentioned the Wiggles and he's just like, oh, yeah, I've got this banjo from Anthony himself, and then just started to play it. How lucky are we to have Troy Cassar-Daley play and sing a part of a song on our podcast?
Very
Yeah.
I just think that's so amazing that he can
Yeah.
just pick it up and play.
Widows.
Weird. Oh, yeah. You've worked with the weirdos?
He has.
No, not quite. Not quite. The Wiggles. I want to go back to what he said about his schooling. What's something that stood out about that story that he shared about his schooling? Because he mentioned that he himself. Yep, just lean into that
He
microphone.
was very confident with his culture, and like he said, he taught other kids about it. Honestly,
Yeah, absolutely.
especially as
Yes. And the way that he said, his own words, from what I thought I heard correctly, was that he doesn't look traditionally Aboriginal. He's got fair skin.
Yep.
You might, yeah. And I was thinking, I've got a couple of people in this room that also identify the same way. So to hear someone as prolific as Troy mention the colour of his skin, but then still be so proud of his Aboriginality, and did he take his class out on country? Is that what he
Yeah.
said?
Yeah, and
So he could get a bus with his uncle, and
Yep.
he went out to country and
That taught them how
Right.
to dig up.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
To be so proud of who you are and where you come from, no matter what you look like, that's inspirational.
he
Yeah.
was like, show us your country or something.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
something about your
She
country.
wanted him to share his culture with the other kids so that they would understand, because I think he did have a bit of a tough time.
Had a tough time
at
in the
school. He went
schoolyard.
to a Catholic school, and back in those days, the Catholic schools were run by nuns. But I think he did have a pretty tough time in school. But he's been able to use that as inspiration for his music.
He's phenomenal.
I'm pretty sure he said something like that his worst enemies end up becoming his best friends,
Yes.
which means that like people can change.
Absolutely.
Absolutely.
Yep. And when you get to know people better, when they get to know you better and understand your story and who you are as a person, then absolutely you're going to find things to connect with. But the default normally is to, oh, I don't like you, because that's
Yeah.
easy.
Yeah.
But we're not about the easy here, are we?
Yeah.
No.
He said he
About
got
easy.
jealous when his cousins came home and was able to play the guitar really, really well.
And that's what inspired him to play?
Yeah.
So he learned how to play.
Like,
Yep.
get lessons.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Awesome.
were his family and cousins and that, because obviously, or also the girl that taught his cousins,
Mm.
because if it wasn't for her, his cousin wouldn't know how to play.
And the last thing about his school was the nun. Was there the story about the nun that she
Yeah,
was his
she's
champion at
yeah.
school?
champion.
In what way?
Like she made sure that he didn't give up on it as a young.
Yes.
Do you feel like you guys have those sorts of people here at school?
Yes, definitely.
Yes, I do.
Absolutely.
Yeah. And that's super lovely to be able to have that. And, times are different now. I think there's a lot more understanding around our backgrounds. There's a lot more knowledge around each and everyone's backgrounds, not just Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander students, but also people from other countries. Lots of refugees that are coming into the country as well. I think there's a lot more understanding and a lot more knowledge and information out there these days to be able to support those kids. So what a great chat.
Oh, it
We
was
are so lucky.
awesome. Yeah, so very lucky.
So lucky.
Yeah.
So thank you guys. Well done.
Yay.
Woo.
I'm very jealous of you.
The Acadiavale Public School podcast is recorded and produced on Awabakal land. We pay homage to the rich storytelling history of the world's oldest tradition each time we sit down and have a yarn. The Acadiavale Public School podcast is recorded and produced by Jeremy Ford. This week we had Amelia McKinley, Ali Grant, Tanit Tarangi, Logan Kelly, and Mrs. Katrina Dunn.